From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at Noon, streaming now.
Now at noon, he's still on the run. What we know so far about a man who took off from the Hancock County Jail. And they're trying to get him out just 1 week before the end of his term. White House Democrats are making the move after the riots at the Capitol, plus the pressure they're also putting on the vice president today. Thanks for joining us here on the News at Noon. I'm Lauren Casey. Our meteorologist Todd Clausen is standing by from home this Monday, halfway through the day, Todd. And it hasn't been that much of a change from what we saw last week. We're all waiting for the sunshine.
Yeah, there really hasn't, honestly, Lauren, been a change from earlier this morning. We still have the clouds. I just looked outside. We have a few flurries out there as well, and temperatures are still really, really chilly as we are sitting in the 20s in most locations. In fact, all locations right now. 25 in Indy, 24 right now in Terre Haute. There's not a lot of wind out there, but there's this damp feeling that is out there, and that is making it feel even cooler than what it is. In fact, it feels like 13 right now in Peru, 16 in Indianapolis as well as Terre Haute, and these are the real feel temperatures when you factor in the wind. That doesn't take into account the dampness that we have out there. And here's the view, and you can see moisture just kind of suspended in the atmosphere, and that's a few flurries that are currently out there. If you do see some flurries, don't worry, we are not going to be dealing with any accumulation, but nonetheless, we will be seeing a little bit in the way of some snow shower activity here this afternoon. Otherwise, just lots of clouds around here throughout the course of the afternoon. A flurry or two. The temperature goes up maybe, if we're lucky, to about 30, 31 degrees. So definitely bundle up. But we do have brighter and warmer days ahead, Lauren. More on that coming up in just a couple minutes.
Todd, thank you. This midday, the search continues for an escaped inmate whom police say could be violent and dangerous. Take a look at your screen. This is 22-year-old Tyrell Deshaun White, and he escaped from the Hancock County Jail last night. White is from Indianapolis, and the Hancock County Sheriff's Department says he could be back here in Marion County. White was taking out trash to the dumpsters behind the jail when he escaped. Although he was supervised by jail officers, he was not in restraints and ran away. He was last seen wearing gray sweatpants and a gray sweatshirt. If you see him, police say you should call 911. Well, with just under 9 days left in his term, President Trump is facing the threat of a second impeachment. Lawmakers are pushing to hold him accountable for last week's violent attack on the Capitol. ABC's Elizabeth Schulze has the latest now from Washington.
5 days after the assault on the Capitol, growing pressure from House Democrats to remove President Trump from office. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi giving Vice President Mike Pence a 24-hour deadline to invoke the 25th Amendment, stripping the president of his powers. Pelosi says if that doesn't happen, the House will move to impeach Trump this week.
This door they broke down.
The House Speaker showing 60 Minutes her ransacked office, saying Trump must be held accountable.
He has done something so serious that there should be prosecution against him.
More than 200 Democrats are already backing a charge to impeach the president for willfully inciting violence against the government of the United States.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore.
A nationwide manhunt is underway for the thousands of rioters who attacked the Capitol. This man, seen holding a white flex cuff, arrested over the weekend, along with another man who appears to be carrying plastic restraints, raising questions about whether they intended to take hostages. A growing number of private companies are now reconsidering their ties to the president in the wake of the attack. The PGA announcing it will no longer hold its 2022 championship at his Bedminster Golf Club. And major companies including Marriott and Blue Cross Blue Shield pulling donations for GOP lawmakers who objected to certifying President-elect Joe Biden's victory. After Twitter banned the president, some conservatives turned to self-proclaimed free speech app Parler. That app now removed from Apple and Google's app stores, and Amazon has suspended hosting the app on its platform. The president and some GOP lawmakers calling the bans a limit on free speech. Others say not so fast.
These are private companies. They are not public squares. And unfortunately, a lot of the people who are complaining, many of whom work in Congress, haven't really read the First Amendment, which says Congress shall make no law against abridging freedom of speech.
Some companies, including J.P. Morgan, Goldman Sachs, and Citi, are suspending political donations altogether. Elizabeth Schulze, ABC News, Washington.
Continuing our coverage now with a standoff in Washington after his apparent falling out with the president last week. The nation is waiting to see whether Vice President Mike Pence will follow through with the efforts that could remove President Trump from office. WRTV spoke with Business Insider reporter Tom LoBianco. He's covered the vice president for years now, and he also wrote a book about the former Indiana governor. So we asked him how Pence might be handling the pressure right now.
What I'm hearing from his advisors is that he is still opposed to using the 25th Amendment. That's what we reported last week, shortly after this happened over at Business Insider, and I hear that is still the case. Now, could somebody in Pence's orbit be floating this as some leverage? The idea of using the 25th Amendment as some leverage and really a defense mechanism for Pence in these final days? Yes, absolutely. It's supremely strange that, frankly, that in addition to many other things, that Trump, the president, has not talked to the vice president after the president's supporters apparently tried to murder the vice president. Pence gets angry when people attack his family, when he feels like he is under threat. And my understanding of what it looks like is that he's angry now. I mean, look, Jim Inhofe, the Oklahoma senator, longtime Pence friend, said that he spoke with Pence during the siege at the Capitol, and that Pence was incredibly upset. Hard to tell, really. I've seen some preliminary polling that's come out, since the attack on, where the Republican base is with regards to Trump. That was the singular question before the attack. How much would Trump control? He clearly controls the RNC now after the weekend meeting, where they reaffirmed his picks to run the party. Some things seem to be pretty clear, but this is a very fluid situation. I'm not even sure that polling will capture this at this moment. We're still learning about the rioters that broke in. There's just so much still happening. I don't even know you can gauge politically what's going on just yet. There's just too much in the air right now.
Our thanks to Tom LoBianco for joining us today with that insight. Well, less than an hour ago, the final term for Republican Governor Eric Holcomb officially got underway. Holcomb here took the oath of office for his second term during a much different looking inaugural than his first one 4 years ago. This inauguration ceremony at the State House was held virtually with no members of the general public attending in person due to the pandemic. Lieutenant Governor Suzanne Crouch and new Attorney General Todd Rokita also were sworn in this morning. New COVID-19 numbers are just in from the state health department. They are lower than, that's been typically the case on Mondays. More than 3,700 new cases of COVID-19 were added to the state's total today. 30 additional COVID-related deaths were also reported. That brings the state's death toll to 8,643. More Hoosiers are getting the coronavirus vaccine today. Those who are ages 80 and older are now eligible to get that shot. Today, the Hamilton County Health Department started giving out the vaccine at a clinic set up at the 4-H Fairgrounds up in Noblesville.
I'm just glad to get it over with. It's fine. We've been looking forward to this for some time because of our age.
Well, the Hamilton County Health Department says it expects to give about 800 doses of the vaccines to seniors this week. Well, she says she was desperate for help, but that she may have gotten lost in the medical shuffle here due to the pandemic. Next, how a woman is reminding us that other health problems need to be tackled as well. Todd?
And Lauren, we are locked in with the clouds once again on this very, very chilly Monday all across central Indiana. We are still in the 20s. Where is the sunshine? Well, it's obviously hidden behind the clouds, but when will those clouds break apart and allow that sunshine to make its way in here to the area? We'll talk all about it coming up in your WRTV Storm Team Forecast.
ABC's General Hospital.
Welcome back. During the COVID-19 pandemic, it's been difficult for some Hoosiers to get treatment for other healthcare problems other than COVID-19, and that's especially true for mental health issues. Savannah Gannon recently had her second child, and she says between her postpartum hormones and isolation of the pandemic, she began having suicidal thoughts. She told WRTV when she reached out to her doctors, she was put on a wait list, and still today, she has not been able to talk to a professional. Savannah says she then went to Facebook to vent about her experience, and she says that was her saving grace.
I've been one of those kind of pessimists regarding social media before, where I'm like, people post too much and they share too much about themselves and their personal lives on social media. But in reality, that was my saving grace this time, because if I hadn't reached out and if I hadn't seen the true support and community that I have, I don't know where I'd be mentally, and that's an even scarier thought.
Well, we have a number of resources on postpartum depression inside this story. Just go to the WRTV News app and WRTV.com. Well, we know that March Madness will all be located here in Indy. Next, how some believe this is a fast break downtown needs to bounce back from a super slow 2020. And let's take a look downtown right now from our Weather Now camera here on top of the tower. You can see it's a pretty gloomy day out there. Todd Clausen is breaking down what we can expect for the rest of the week ahead. Stick around. You're watching the news at noon right here on WRTV. Welcome back. The rush towards March Madness is already heading downtown. We don't know whether fans will be allowed in the stands, but as our Troy Washington tells us, Hoosiers are still excited about the upcoming games in and around Indianapolis.
A lot of people that come into Indy just for that tournament, and so I think getting people out and about, in a time like this is probably a good thing, as long as, you're following your social distancing.
These fans are just glad March Madness is back, even if fans might not pack the stands because of the pandemic.
I think it's a way for people to get out of reality for a little bit.
As soon as this group heard about games going on at Bankers Life Fieldhouse, Lucas Oil Stadium, and Indiana Farmers Coliseum, they instantly felt it would be the escape everyone needs right now.
I know for my family personally, we fill up brackets, and so I know it's created a huge, between our extended family, it's a way for us to kind of connect with each other, even though we're not able to be there in person, but we still fill out a bracket as a family, and we can kind of text each other and see how each other's doing in their brackets and things like that. So I think from a social standpoint, I think it's huge.
And there's no doubt that Massachusetts Avenue will see an increase in traffic come March.
I just turned 21 this past year, so I haven't really been able to experience March Madness at the bars yet. But hopefully sometime soon I'll be able to get that experience. I don't know if I'll do it this year, but I could definitely see even if you're not at the game, you're just at the bars watching the games. I just feel like that atmosphere is going to be pretty insane.
And everyone is rooting for someone.
Excited for IU to hopefully take it home. Hopefully they make the tournament, because they're looking good right now, but sometimes they can be a little shaky.
Or even just those unpredictable moments that you can almost always count on.
I honestly just look forward to usually the first round and any upsets that happen, because I know those can be pretty crazy.
Working for you downtown, Troy Washington, WRTV.
Troy, thank you. So far, the NCAA has only said that a limited number of the athletes' family members will be allowed inside the games. We'll keep you posted. All right, let's talk about our forecast for today, Todd. Hopefully, if we can invite people here to the Circle City and all those teams are coming here, we can give them some nicer weather than what we're having today. But really, it's January, so I can't complain too much.
At least in March, you have the potential to get into the 60s,
right,
maybe the 70s. But in March, you also can get a lot of snow. So it just really depends. March is that transitional month here. Right now, though, we are locked in with the cloud cover, unfortunately, and these chilly temperatures, Lauren. In fact, we're sitting in the 20s across all of central Indiana. The clouds are firmly in place. And as you look off in the distance here, you can see what kind of looks like fog, but it's really just some moisture that's just trapped in the atmosphere, and there's a few flurries mixed in there as well. If you see some of these flurries, that's not going to accumulate, but we have literally not moved the temperature hardly at all here throughout the morning hours. We're sitting at 25 degrees right now officially at the airport in Indy. The wind's not all that strong out of the west at 9 miles per hour, but it is strong enough to factor in a wind chill of 16 degrees. So you definitely need to bundle up if you're going to be out and about. Here are your temperatures across central Indiana, and everybody is in the 20s. In fact, 22 in Crawfordsville, 23 in Richmond. This is one of the cooler afternoon highs that we have seen so far here, not only this year, obviously, but as starting back when winter arrived in late 2020. 13 is what it feels like in Peru. 16 again is what it feels like in Indy as well as Terre Haute. And highs today, they aren't going to do a whole lot. We're looking at highs only to get back up. That's a maybe freezing, and that honestly may be a little generous on my part. I'm just hoping that there could be a few peaks of sunshine. Otherwise, we'll just be stuck in the 20s here throughout the course of the afternoon hours. This evening, temperatures will be in the 20s, and then overnight tonight, it gets cold across the area. We're looking at low temperatures that are going to be down in the 20s, and I wouldn't be shocked when you join us on Good Morning Indiana tomorrow that there will be some temperatures in the teens. Those are those are actual temperatures. The real field temperatures will actually be a little bit cooler than that. But I do think we start to turn things around tomorrow with some sunshine throughout the day. I don't think it's completely sunny, but with the added sunshine, highs should tomorrow get up to right around 40 degrees. And then we'll stay in the 40s for Wednesday and Thursday with highs right around 44 to 45 degrees. And that's going to put us nearly 10 degrees above normal. But then you see the trajectory of that graph. It goes down below normal by Saturday. As that colder air comes in, there will be the potential for some snow showers to rotate through the area. So that's something that we'll have to keep an eye on. It's not going to be a major storm system for us. That is the good news. But there will be the potential, if it plays out like it looks like it could right about now, be a quick coating, maybe some minor accumulations, and definitely slippery conditions as we get into Friday and Saturday. But that's a long ways away. Lauren, let's focus first on getting some sunshine here into the forecast.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Well, if you are still paying off student loans, the pandemic meant that you didn't have to pay too much on them this past year, but that grace period is coming to an end. And as Tim Maniscalco with the Better Business Bureau tells us, that means criminals are trying to take advantage of it.
Well, last year when the COVID event happened, the government deferred a lot of student loan payments. Now that those are coming back and people are going to have to start paying those, a lot of scammers are out there offering these great deals on student loan payments. For instance, you're going to get a call saying that you can get rid of your student loan. All you have to do is make 2 payments, let's say of $400 each, and also give things like your social security number, your bank account number, those types of things. Really watch out for that because once again, the scammers are out there. Probably the best place to start if you are having trouble paying off your student loan is the government site. It's called studentaid.gov, studentaid.gov. But please be careful on these unsolicited offers to either cancel or reduce your payments because a lot of times those are just scammers and they will pose as being from the Department of Education. Don't be fooled by that. Do your own research. There's a lot of good ways for you to help yourself out without going through these types of people who just solicit you for no reason whatsoever.
Tim, thank you so much. Well, there's much more about this scam and others at the Better Business Bureau's website. Just go to bbb.org. Well, next, you may be wondering where all the winter snow is. We'll show you one place where the snow is falling and how it's bringing out some ancient creatures. Stick around. You're watching the news at noon right here on WRTV.
Strength to make a difference.
So it may seem as if a lot of places are getting the snow that central Indiana usually sees this time of year, and that includes a place in Europe where snow is extremely rare. Take a look. Madrid, Spain is experiencing one of its worst snowstorms in decades. The area is only starting to recover today, but not before this guy had some fun out there. There he is, a T-Rex spotted in Madrid among the people enjoying the rare major snowfall. Rexy the dinosaur was later spotted attempting a snow angel. A little difficult to do there with the small arms, but no word on whether this is the same T-Rex that was spotted roaming the Madrid streets last May during the area's coronavirus shutdown. That's pretty funny. Love the snow angel attempt, Todd.
All right. I mean, yeah, they're just not used to it. Crippled the airport there in Madrid as well with that snow, and they've seen more snow than us here in central Indiana. We have a little opportunity for some minor snow on the tail end of your 7-day planning forecast that you see here, Lauren, on Friday and Saturday. It's more just some snow showers, which could cause some issues on the roads with reduced visibility. But until then, hopefully we'll get some sunshine in here tomorrow, and then we'll keep some around on Wednesday before the clouds come back. It does warm up, though. That's definite. Mid-40s by Wednesday and Thursday before that cold air comes in with that snow shower opportunity. Lauren.
All right, Todd, thank you so much, and thank you for joining us and making WRTV your choice for news. Come back here tonight and join us for the news at 5. Have a great Monday.